So this week's shit story, I don't know, it was a weird experience, man. So I walked into the bathroom at work the other day, and I go into the handicap stall because there's just simply more space in there. And this guy is just sitting on the toilet, pants around the ankles, scrolling through his phone. I throw up my hands and walk out disgusted. He's like, I'm sorry, I forgot to lock the door. And I'm like, yeah, no shit, Sherlock. I didn't say anything, though. Not having a conversation with you about it right now, man. It just doesn't seem like the appropriate time. I was pissed, though, because it was one of those kind of mornings where, like, everything that could go wrong did, and I stepped out to get some peace by taking a shit while scrolling through my phone on my handicapped toilet, and this asshole is on my throne. I didn't need to see that shit. But that wasn't the thing that pissed me off. The thing that pissed me off is that was my idea. See, I thought it would be hilarious to not lock the door on purpose and have somebody walk in right when the butt sausage is cranking out of my ass. They'd freak out. The look on their face would be priceless. So I was more mad that he stole my joke than anything. So now I'm looking around for this guy so I can ask him if he did it on purpose. What's he going to say? Oh, it's awkward now? Man, I just saw you take a shit at work. You set the bar pretty fucking high.
You know this guy from work, right?
I don't know him. He's just, I noticed that he's a new tenant on our floor. And they've been there for, I don't know, maybe going on 5 months or something.
Is it better or worse that you didn't know him? If you would have opened it and Mr. Baseball was sitting there punching out a grumpy. Right? Because I got Pepto after his bachelor party. So speaking of which, they celebrated their 15th anniversary this week. Me and Mama got to go down there, and she finally got to meet Mrs. Pepto.
That's cool.
Yeah, we'll get back to that a little bit later before I forget this because I'm prone to forget stuff. At his bachelor party, he had way too much, as you should. We were multi-generational partying. So like the dads and the uncles were all there.
Yeah.
They were just as bad as us. We strapped a 8-pound bowling ball on a chain to his ankle, made him carry around the ball and chain all night. Had to call it his wife's name every time he wanted a lap dance. He had to ask the old ball and chain first.
No, you guys went to the strip club and made him wear the bowling ball?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
So the whole night, we're having a good time, and he's up at the stage, and he ends up getting sick at the stage. We got to get him out of there. And then he went from being drunk and having a great time to wasted like in an instant. And so the night was over. So we go back. Me and him are staying somewhere else, not where his bride is or whatever. We're sharing a room, and they show up to take us golfing in the morning because we're supposed to have the early morning golf round. And we're hurting. Right? Yeah. We've been like 1 foot in the bed. And they're knocking on the door like, shit, it's time to get up already. So I go, all right, well, I go outside to talk to him. I'm like, I don't think Pepto's going to make it. He's hurting and whatever. And I go back inside and he's missing. And I go look in the bathroom and he's sitting there and the door's wide open. He didn't even fucking bother. Right? Just got a t-shirt on, showing he's around his ankles. And he looks up at me. He had like his hand down in his hands, his head down in his hands. And he looks at me, his bloodshot eyes, and I go, man, you show up on the golf course today, that's shit legends are made out of. And I go, I'm going to breakfast. I'll grab you some food. I'll see you at the golf course. They're going to come by and pick you up. He's like, all right. I didn't know if he was going to make it, man. That man made it. So I get him this sandwich, but we tee off before he shows up, so I'm already ahead of him. So I'm like, I'll leave it on the first tee. Or the second tee.
You hollered at him down the fairway like you saw him?
Yeah, they were behind us. We were in the middle of the fairway when he pulled up into the parking lot. Okay. We knew they were coming. Right. I didn't know if he was going to make it. I knew the people that were picking him up were coming.
Yeah.
They were in the second group. So I leave it. He grabs it, and I guess the story went as soon as he saw it, he started throwing up again. And then like 2 holes later, he's standing out there, and he's along the road on the way into the course, and Bean, who didn't show up on time to golf, comes rolling down that road. And all of a sudden, I hear this. From 150 yards behind me or whatever, we're on the green. Pepto's in the middle of the fairway. Bean's on the road next to him. I just hear this. And I look, and Bean is hanging out his truck window trying to get Pepto to throw up. And I look at Pepto, and he's doing the weird burp, don't let it come up, everything, swallow hard, what everyone does. They've all been that moment right before you puke, and you're like, maybe I just do fighting this. And he's trying in the middle of the fairway, and Bean is relentless.
Oh my God.
Just making sound effects.
Finally got him to jack. Oh, right in the middle of the fairway, everywhere.
But did he immediately feel better after that, though?
He shot one of the best rounds of his life
Really?
that day. We figured because he didn't try hard. Everything was easy. He couldn't swing hard. He swung nice and easy, and he couldn't believe it. She was not happy with him being that hungover, but whatever. They've been married 15 years. Apparently something worked right.
Well, congratulations, Pepto, man, and
Wow.
Mrs. Pepto, man. That's a great milestone.
Yep.
And I appreciate to hear that.
We got to catch up with him yesterday.
Yeah.
The 95% of the day was great. 95% of my day. Mama's was a little bit longer.
Did they come up here to go to a baseball game with you?
Well,
Is
the whole
that-
weekend in the city for their anniversary, and they wanted to catch a ball game with us. And
Oh.
they haven't met yet. We just
Yeah.
haven't.
And it was such a great time. We hit it off like.
Were you
this.
guys with them all weekend?
No,
Just for
just
the game
yesterday.
and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys hit it off like that?
Just like that. It
Yeah.
was so perfect. I mean, she's just.
Oh, she's awesome.
She's awesome. I just had a great time. I was like, oh my God, finally. I mean, I hear all these great things about Pepto, and, it's like he's such a great guy. I meet him a couple of times, like, it's basically his brother in some way,
Right,
and then
right.
here's his wife, who's absolutely amazing, and we had a great time.
Takes
I'm
one
so
to know
happy.
one, right? They're
Exactly.
a well matched pair. It sounds
Yes.
like, and it's always better when you're really close with somebody and you get along with their significant other
Yes.
too. So like, you're friends with Pepto, but if Mama KGB and Mrs. Pepto didn't get along, that would suck for both of you.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that would be very,
Very
very
tough.
you're,
hard.
like trying to please two people that you care about, and it's like, why do I have to do this? Like,
Yeah.
you guys are fucking with me. Like,
We didn't have that problem. It was
No.
great. We had
Yeah.
a good time. Their flight wasn't until 9, so we went back out to that bar that's on the other side of McCovey Cove.
yeah, with the cornhole and
And
stuff.
we played cornhole, and we had a couple more drinks.
That's
and we
where I
walked
went when
back
I got
and
kicked out.
made some drunk purchases. We got some awesome new ball caps. Said our goodbyes and got on the wrong train,
Oh,
which isn't bad.
Yeah, but that
in
can
and
take
of
a long
itself,
time.
as long as you don't sit down and fall asleep.
You both fell asleep.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And I woke up grumpy, to say the least. I was not happy.
How long were you sleeping? How many stops did you miss?
Quite.
We got to Hayward.
Did you, really?
Yeah.
And then what really set me off
Was it running the
fact
other
that-
way, or did you have to ride it all the way back before it turned around?
No, we got off, and we switched to the train that took us to the train that took us to the train that we needed.
Yeah. A couple of them.
2 transfers. So, 3 if you include getting off and getting on the other train, really. So
Where did you guys park to get barred?
Pleasant Hill.
Yeah.
Oh,
So anyway, that wasn't a great ending to the day. I mean, grumpy, her upset, and then she had to drive all the way home because I just passed out. Man, it was like time travel. It was amazing for me. I was shocked we were in Sacramento.
oh, those are cool.
I didn't remember any of it.
And we're grateful to those that put up with that and provide us.
Oh
that
no,
time
I've been
travel.
feeling like a jerk all day today. I got some penance to come up with tonight. It's all right. I'll rub her feet.
I didn't really
Read her
feel
story.
like I
Make her-
didn't.
write her a poem. On the way down was exciting though to the game. I met a guy in traffic because of course I did.
Yeah.
This dude was rocking a '56 Bel Air. It was beautiful.
It was pretty.
He had a matching shirt on, so I was taking pictures, and then he caught me and he laughed. So I was like, "It's awesome, man." He's like, "Dang."
And you guys are just like creeping.
Yeah, and then we're
inchworming.
going back
Yeah,
and forth,
yeah.
so the conversation's kind of broken. He's like, "I've had it since I was 16." I was like, "That is awesome, dude." Had to be 65, right?
I mean, he looked good for 65.
But you think so? You think he was younger than
I
that?
think he was a bit younger.
I think I had a better look. You were driving.
Oh, okay.
No, I think he was a little bit older.
Yeah.
Either way, whatever.
Yeah.
But he'd had it for a long time,
It's true.
and like I said, shirt match. So he
Yeah,
was
it was
a cool
pretty
guy.
neat. It was
Yeah.
neat. He's like, I like this car. This is all original and da da da.
Yeah, it was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. That was a cool moment on the way down there. We had a cool night Saturday night.
Well, you tweeted the photos, didn't you?
Yeah,
Or
I
did you
tweeted those
text
out.
them? Yeah, you tweeted those photos, and I saw. And then today I stopped in Bel Air because I sold something on eBay, and I forgot to ship it. And I saw an email from eBay, and I was like, oh my god, that was Friday. I'm supposed to ship this shit today. Printed a label, went home at lunch, packaged it up, and then dropped it off at the post office in the Bel Air. And when I'm pulling into the Bel Air, I mean, I don't know the year offhand, but it looked exactly like that car that he tweeted, the red and the white and everything. And I was like, oh my God, that's the same guy. And I was like, if I see him, I got to say, hey man, you had that since you were 16 years old?
That would have been awesome.
I know.
And then, so I'm looking at it. Oh, so I go in the store real quick. The windows were down, so I knew the guy wasn't going to be long. And I go in and I drop it off and I come right back out and he's backing out. And I was like, fuck. and I'm like about to walk by him, and I chickened out. I didn't holler at him. Like it was very Monday. I was very hungover from Saturday. Like yesterday I was super hungover, and it was a Monday, and it wasn't grumpy so much, but there's just continual bullshit that's been going on at work, and a little bit of that, like just vibes are off right now. A lot of vibes are off right now, and I just didn't feel like hollering at him. But I looked at him, and I got a good look at him before I decided not to. And then I was like, I'm going to check out that tweet. And it was a different guy. Because you could see in your photo the guy looking back at you when he caught you taking the photos. I was like, oh my God, is he posing for these things?
He didn't. That's not what he caught me, actually. I thought he was going to. He was reaching for something.
Oh.
No, he was opening up the windows.
Oh, that's what he was doing.
Oh, in the back?
Yeah.
And then we kind of got ahead of him, and I wanted to get a picture from the front.
Right.
And that's when he caught me.
But the license plate was different.
Yeah.
I think yours had like the guy, he had like one of those bras on the front, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a bra in front.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it was
that's
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. You don't see those very often.
Nope.
Oh,
so
it
to
was
catch
rad.
two the same color.
Within the same, the next day, I was like, oh my God, I wonder if he's from here. Like,
that's
but
weird.
it was a total different guy. I got to look at the guy, and then I saw the guy in the photo, and I was like, total different fucking guy.
How's your taco challenge going?
I haven't missed a day. I have missed, I believe, 2 days of tweeting about it.
Yeah.
But I have witnesses on any of the days, honestly. So I'm not worried about that. And just for my own honesty and integrity, like I would say, I fucking missed a day.
Well,
I tried to give him an out the other day.
I technically haven't missed a day.
No.
No. Yeah, I didn't miss yesterday because I had a taco after midnight. So I said technically I haven't missed a day. Because we had those tacos
midnight,
so
that was
late
today.
Saturday. I had one before midnight and one after midnight.
Yeah.
Oh, technically like that. And that's fine.
And I didn't plan on it being a technicality, but we never got any yesterday. I thought for sure I'd run across a taco, but I didn't.
Well, she's digging it. Nikki's actually digging it. And we're having fun. I weighed in at 201 this morning. Wow. So, again, I'm still losing weight.
Oh, yeah. I watched
working
that video
out a little bit.
When we went to the game.
Which video?
That you and Fresh made. Like quick one the other day. You've lost a lot of weight.
Oh, you can even see it from there.
Yeah,
you could tell.
You could tell on the face.
Well, in your belly. Like that picture you were taking me earlier, hitting my awesome new bong, thanks to Duffman, by the way. I appreciate that. Much love. He was taking a video, and I had to lean over, and I definitely need to work on my man boobs because I look like an old woman. Like, my boobs do not. They look like I've been breastfeeding 14 kids. And
orange.
She's not going to want to look at me naked anymore. I need to stop describing it like that. She's got this weird, what was that one with Jack Black and Gwyneth Paltrow?
Oh, yeah.
I'm convinced she
Hal.
just sees my person. She doesn't know what I really look like. That's the only way this makes sense.
That just means you have a good heart.
That's what I'm saying.
Have you ever seen that movie?
I did.
It's actually pretty good.
Oh, it's a good moral.
I would do, and I thought about this the other day, throwback to SSDT in the flesh out brackets. Like, I was like, let's do a Jack Black one.
Oh,
Dude's got some
that
movies.
would be fun, actually.
You know, I think he's a little underrated. Did you guys see the new, I'm getting off a little tangent here, but did you guys see the Jumanji with Jack Black in it?
No, I haven't
the
seen
new
it
one with The Rock and
good?
Kevin Hart?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is it good?
I heard it's
Oh,
good.
yeah, it's
The Rock's
awesome.
making the Jungle Cruise now. Did
I
you
know.
hear that?
He's one of my
guy
favorite
is
people.
out of
He's
control.
one of my favorite people.
You think he's going to run for president?
What?
Him and Hanks?
Really?
Isn't that the joke? Him and Tom Hanks?
Well,
That was like the Saturday Night Live bit.
that's funny. For sure.
They would
If
kill.
you were going to run on an all-entertainer ticket, I think you have to pick a vice president that's actually a politician in order to be taken seriously.
Right.
But
you could be the face, you could be the brand, you could be
like Derek Jeter is to the Marlins, right? He doesn't hardly own shit. Or Magic Johnson to the Dodgers, right? Magic Johnson doesn't hardly own any of the Dodgers.
Right, but it's like or when Jay-Z owned the Nets.
Exactly.
But then he had to sell it.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't be a sports agent and a team
Jordan
owner.
was like the first one that really is like an owner.
Wizards, right?
No, what are they now? They're the Hornets again, right?
Oh,
changed
was
their
that
name
it?
a couple times. Yeah.
Oh.
He owns in Charlotte. North Carolina. Right? He went back home.
Yeah.
Has the home team.
Oh, that
That's
makes
his whole
sense.
appeal.
That makes more
Yeah.
sense now.
Yeah.
Wizards is where he went back to play, dummy. Who you calling dummy? You dumbass. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I did see the love you've been getting on Twitter from the taco makers themselves. That's pretty cool, man.
It's insane. Two of my favorite ones. Chipotle hit me up. Chipotle. I got all messed up because my mom always says we went to Chipotle. No.
I used to say it wrong.
Chipotle. Chipotle. She goes, I went to Chipotle. Chipotle hit me up today.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's fucking cool. Well, they replied because I was super hungover yesterday, and so I wasn't trying to eat a lot. And Nikki's like, I'm fucking hungry. Baby's all restless. He needs to change the scenery. I'm gonna go drive around the block, go down the street, get Chipotle. I was like, all right, give me some tacos. But they used to make them super small, and I hated it because everything is just priced on the meat. And I was like, this is a ripoff. If I get the bowl or the burrito, I'm going to get way more food than if I get the 3 little ass tacos. And they're the same price. It's stupid. I remember being hungry when I was younger, like when you're 20s or something like that, and you can eat anything. Like, I would need 6 of them or something. I was like, this is just not enough. I always felt ripped off. So when we started the taco challenge, that was the first time I had ordered tacos from Chipotle in at least 10 years.
I never heard you say that story, but that's the reason why I don't order tacos from Chipotle. So maybe I should try
Easy. Again. You know what? I would say 17 years. On the bag of the Chipotle, they were talking about how they've been around for 25 years. I probably didn't find out about them until about 5 or 7. And for 17 years or whatever, that math didn't work. I just know that for a fact, but I'm not a math person, so I'm not going to track it back and figure it out. Get out your calculator, shitheads. Let me know and text me back. I understand I fucked that one up. But, man, I swear it had at least been 15 years, 17 years before I had since I've had tacos at Chipotle. And Nikki's like, damn, you got hooked up. Because she knows this story and this point of view that I have on him. She's like, these are huge. And she goes, do you think you'll get lucky again? I was like, I don't know. I hope so. Let's just be optimistic. Whatever. I'm not that hungry today any fucking way. So she comes back in. Well, she texts me, and I didn't know I was asleep. I passed out. I was trying to get a hand job, and she's like, nope, you don't get what you want. I'm hungry. I'm not jacking you off. I'm going to go get food. Why don't you take care of that yourself? I was like, how about I just wait for you to get back and take a nap? And she's like, all right, that's fine too. So she's texting me and whatnot, but luckily I had put my phone on silent because nothing worse than trying to take a hungover nap and your phone buzzing like crazy. So I'm sleeping, and she like fucking half hour later jiggles my foot, and I wake up like, oh. And she just starts laughing. I was like, you attacked me. She's like, I didn't attack you. I rubbed your foot. She's like, man, babe, you got lucky with them tacos again. I was like, are you serious? She's like, yeah, they're huge. And I was like, all right, let's go. And then I saw my phone and saw that she had texted the same thing. They were beastie motherfuckers. And she got a quesadilla, and she got the chips and guac. I said, oh, you were hungry shopping. Yeah. She's like, yes, so? And I'm just like, no matter. Thank you for getting the food. Wonderful. Love you. So I only ate 2 of them and half a quesadilla and chips and guac. And I'm like, hung the fuck over. So that's actually a lot. So I wrapped one up, and I was like, I hate putting food in the refrigerator and throwing it away. I didn't want to waste this taco, but I figured if I started it, I wouldn't finish, and I might make myself queasy again. I ended up throwing up at like 3 a.m. or something the night before after the bar. So it was like one of those where it was a little dicey all day. So I was like, I'm just going to put it in there, and when I reheat it, I'm going to separate the chicken and leave like the cheese, the salsa, and the guac in there. Because if you nuke that whole package, that doesn't always work well for me. Like, I don't know. I like the guac cold. I don't need the guac hot. Like, Yeah. So I did it, and I went home to do that package. I was like, I got to package that package. I'm going to eat that fucking taco. And I ate it, and that's when I sent the tweet from yesterday, the picture from yesterday, to Chipotle today. And then I'm sitting back in my office, and the phone beeps. I see a Twitter thing. I thought it might have been you. And look down, and it was fucking Chipotle.
That's awesome.
No, actually, I was sitting on my recliner when that happened. But even still, I did the same thing. I looked down, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Taco Bell hit me up the day before the taco challenge.
That's awesome.
So
We're taco famous.
Love tacos.
Yeah, you guys are.
I love it. Yeah. And I'm still losing weight. So it's still going on strong. I've done it every day. I tried to give you it out the other day. And what I was telling him is I didn't want you to think it was a diss on you. No. Because when we were talking a couple weeks back and it gave me the idea, and then we keep talking about it and shit, I just didn't want you to feel like I'm rubbing that shit into you. To each their own. Do what you want to do. Yeah. Like, no. It just seemed like something fun.
I'm not a fan. Yeah. Tacos, so you boys do what you gotta do.
Speaking of love,
I'm eating tacos.
Speaking of love, being on the BART this weekend, come across this story here that this is going to be our love for this week, and it's what is this? Instagram, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's a clip from Instagram. Right.
So this guy on Instagram, we'll give him some credit here, at Joel Gorf, Gorf, and if for some reason you hit him up, tell him we sent you. But he said, a really sweet elderly man on the tube reading iPhones for seniors. My heart melted. There's a picture. Should I say that first?
Nah.
No.
It's Instagram. People know that's photos except you.
I feel like leaving that in the show.
Might as well.
Yep.
Just because you don't use it.
Yeah, you're right. No, 100,000%. It's hilarious. I'm really laughing hard. I'm just really stoned.
Well, that's an internal monologue. That's an internal laugh.
Oh,
there.
in my head, dude, fucking right. So
You're holding it together pretty well, man.
I think I'm trying too hard.
That's a Jedi. That's a Jedi mind trick right there.
So he finds this guy reading his book, and he apologized for peeking at his reading material, and he asked him if he wanted some help, and he told me he wanted to know how to send pictures of his cat to his grandchildren. So this guy showed him.
Oh,
That's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
those are the kind of stories we're looking for. So
sweet.
yeah.
Aw.
Just simple. Help somebody out. I saw another one keeping the theme of the train or the tram or the tube or the BART going. What were you going to say?
He made multiple people happy with this one too, right? Because it's not just this guy; it's the grandchildren that are communicating with their grandfather.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of a proof that putting one good thing out in the universe can have multiple results.
Look, Ma, Grandpa texted me a
and then
picture
the
of
mom's
Garfield.
happy, right? Like, yeah, no, that's awesome.
It is cool. And
Yeah,
it's
so
just
moral of the story is help somebody next time you see them.
they're not giving up,
Yeah.
you know? Some people, they're like, I can't use that shit. You know what I mean? Like fucking computers. There was another one on it looked like a subway or a BART or a tube or whatever you want to call it. I saw today, and it was actually a video. And there was a black homeless dude on the bus, and he wasn't wearing a shirt. Did you see it?
Yeah, I
And the
saw
guy
it.
gave him the shirt, and
Yeah.
he gave him the beanie.
Yeah.
It was almost kind of like the same thing. Like, get away from me, crackhead. Or,
Yeah,
oh, man, he gave him the shirt off his back. Now, he was wearing two shirts. He had an undershirt on, but he gave him the fucking shirt
awesome.
and put it over his head and helped him put his arms through. The guy obviously seemed unsure. But
yeah.
it was nice that he did it. It just doesn't, I'm not saying go out and give the shirt off your back, but just
Well,
It's very
be
sometimes-
kinder to people, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's good
Yeah.
that some people are trying to be good. You know, it's not all evil. As much
No.
evil as we have to see. And
I had to take a lift to work this morning because my truck was downtown all weekend. We went and saw Mamma Mia in the round at Music Circus.
oh yeah,
Not the best show we've ever seen.
It wasn't that
Sound-
good?
Sound wasn't great. Finished strong only because everyone's standing up like a rock star.
Yeah.
It's like a concert. Everyone's singing all the songs, and they're just doing
Oh.
like the chorus of all the hits.
Got
I've
it.
had like 4 beers. Like, I'm the only guy in that entire building from my demographic. It was weird. You know what I mean? I'm over there just during the show. I'm like waiting to pop beers every time.
would you put them in her purse?
We enjoy it. No, they
Bottom.
sell them there. I'm just saying I'm the only one that's like coming back with multiple beers from intermission.
Yeah.
And they weren't opening them for you?
No, they sell them to you in cans.
Yeah,
It's
but
kinda
that's
nice.
a hard no-no because you could football chuck that into the performer's face. That's a security issue. You have to pop the
Really?
top.
They-
That's why they do that everywhere
Well,
else.
I will keep tipping the gentleman nicely so that I have because otherwise I'd be spilling beer everywhere.
No,
on
I
my way
get it.
back. That place they pack you in like sardines.
Well, you know what? You probably had a good vibe, and it was probably just meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, like
Well, yeah. So
It's like, who would you want to chuck that at the dancers? I mean,
there's evil people out there.
did
That's
you
why
see
there's
David
a
Bowie
yeah,
get the Tootsie Pop in his eye?
no.
David Bowie, like, not to interrupt
Yeah.
you or whatever, but there was a period where he's like, I'm not fucking touring anymore. This is bullshit. I'm like over it. You guys paid to see me, yet you're throwing shit at me. Somebody threw a sucker, a lolly, at David Bowie. There's a photo of it with the stick sticking out of his fucking eye, like in his eyelid, and he's
Oh
just
my
like,
God.
David fucking Bowie. Like, have some respect, you
That's
fucking
crazy.
idiots.
Nah, people are terrible.
You know?
We could do a whole show just on terrible people. There probably are shows like that out there. I met a good person though. So getting back to what I was saying about the I left my truck downtown after the game after going the wrong way forever. We got home way late. I was not in a shape to drive, so I was like, I'll just lift in the morning. So I get a lift. It's an older gentleman. And I get in the car, and he's like, well, you're my 4,000th ride, and this is my last one ever. He's like, I got a job, and I'm not doing this anymore. I was like, well, that's cool, man. Like, congratulations, you know? I was like, I said, I go, what are you going to be doing? He says, I'm a salesman. I got a sales job. I'm going to be selling those Acorn systems. You know, you see those commercials where they, like the elevator for your home for like the seniors or whatever.
Get out, really?
Yeah, so that's what he's going to be
Awesome.
selling.
Huh.
So I started talking to him, and he told me that out of 4,000 people, he probably had less than 10 that were a problem, which
Oh,
caught
that's
me
good.
off guard. Now, I don't know if he was picking up people after bars.
Yeah, when
Right.
you drive, he goes,
If you're
I
driving
do
commuters,
5 a.m.
yeah.
to not 10 a.m.
Yeah,
you know,
that's all
my
you're doing
window.
as a comedian. It's probably not too rough, but still, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice guy. I told him about the podcast because I said I'm going to tell a story, and he goes, "You have a podcast? Tell me about that." And he was really asking questions.
Yeah.
And he had me
Engaging.
text him a link so he could listen.
Really?
Oh yeah, he really seemed like
Nice.
he gave me his new work number. I think he was kind of proud to give out his new work number too.
Good for him.
So yeah, it was good. It was a good way to start my day, even though it's a little pricey getting to work that way. But
Why did you guys have 2 cars?
because I went to work on Saturday, went straight to the show from work.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right. So you guys met like
Yeah.
downtown.
Well,
Downtown.
Yeah.
She comes to work, picks me up.
Fucks on
No,
Mr.
not
Guy's
this
desk.
Not this time.
Dang it.
My
See, I'm one of
coworker though sure gets real talkative when she comes around. A
Oh,
couple
yeah.
of them, it's hilarious.
And I was like,
Oh, really?
I'll work with these dudes for 12 hours, man. They won't hardly say 4 words to me. She walks in and all of a sudden they're
we're just having
chest out,
or like
Yeah.
chatty,
peacocking around the
chatty
control room.
Cathys around me. It's kind of nice because I get to talk to them.
Do you ever notice how your best friend becomes a comedian the second your wife walks around? It's kind of like the same thing. That was like a meme or whatever,
That's
and it showed
funny.
this one guy, and he's kind of giving him the side eye, like, what the fuck? And like his other dude's like all animated and smiling, and she's just laughing. Like in another Instagram photo. It's social media based on pictures. Orange.
Yeah, I'm old.
Social media based on pictures orange. But
I feel like I'm getting
funny.
further and further behind, man. I watched, these. We watched Ready Player One the other night, which
Yeah.
was fantastic. I loved it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I
it was
wanna
a great.
see it.
It was a great family movie
Yeah.
for the boys. It was PG-13, but I don't think
They only
anything was
said
super.
one like shit or something.
No,
That's about it.
they're only allowed to drop 1 F-bomb.
Oh.
And I
In a
think they've been
PG-13
pushing
movie.
that. I think it might be up to 2 or 3 now, but
Really?
or they're very crafty at going like mother and then an explosion and then you don't like so you
Oh.
get the but technically you're only supposed to have one.
I love that sometimes.
Right, yeah.
The Ringer's the one that always sticks
More
in my head
artistic.
more than any other one.
The Ringer.
Yeah, with Johnny Knoxville when he faked
Oh, I never
being
saw.
disabled to win money to help a guy that he had working for him that he told he had medical insurance and he didn't, and he cut his fingers off, I think, and so he had to get this money, so he lets his degenerate grandfather or uncle, whoever he was, talk him into pretending to be disabled to win. There was some kid that like won all the time, so he was like the odds-on favorite. So he goes through with it. Katherine Heigl's in it. It's kind of funny.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, and they worked really, really closely with a lot of organizations to make sure that they weren't making something that was offensive at all. And they actually had a lot of people that were in the movie were
Oh.
actual special Olympians and stuff like that.
Which is
So-
great because
Yeah.
a lot of that, like ILS or SLS, like supported living services or independent living services and stuff like that, it's to teach living skills and social skills to actually get job and work, and working hand in hand with the production and the studio actually gave them jobs. You know, they
Yeah,
probably got
and
SAG
made sure
minimums
everything
and all
was-
that
yeah,
shit. Yeah,
absolutely.
So it's like, yeah, of course we're going to support that. And that's good to know that they did it in a tasteful way.
Yeah.
That guy's smart, right?
Oh,
I mean,
he's really smart.
he
You
came out
know,
with
have
a
you
lot
ever
of
seen
shit.
the Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia? You need to go home and watch it.
is that a movie?
It's a documentary.
Oh,
and
yeah?
it's a riot.
It's
and
him?
he was one of the producers, but he did it completely because he met this guy who hangs out with Hank Williams III, who's apparently fancies himself a singer. I don't think he's very great, but anyways, it's about this family that's connected to this guy. And he's like super famous in where they're from in Kentucky or West Virginia because you have to watch it. It's fascinating to watch. And he was attached to that, but he was afraid of putting his name in front of it because he didn't want people to think it was all a joke. It's
Right.
that absurd. This dude,
Wow. Well, if you think about
Have you not
Johnny
seen it,
Knoxville,
babe?
no.
Oh,
I think
my
of him
bad.
creating something stupid and funny and just jackass. That's all that I
Right.
think.
And this
of.
is not.
But
it,
that's the
it seems like it's something you'd write.
That's why you don't get. That's why it sucks to get typecast. Is because
Yeah.
you're more than that.
Exactly.
And he is more than that, which
Right.
is why you don't see him as much anymore. But he's still working.
Right.
Like he produces a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that would be fun. It's funny. I saw a trailer when we were watching this movie. We went to the movies this weekend, and it just like right as the credits were flashing, it was like producer Brad Pitt. And like Brad Pitt produces a lot of shit that you didn't
Yeah.
even know he's
yeah.
on. And I was like, that would be so cool. One day, goals, man. So we saw this movie, BlacKkKlansman. It's a Spike Lee joint. It's based on a true story of the first black cop in this Colorado town, a very white Colorado town, that was the first black cop on the force. and he moved into records, or no, he was in records, like, and they were all rude to him in there, and then he moved to like some special investigation team, or they challenged him, they needed him to go undercover, it worked out, blah blah blah. So he's researching, or he's just thinking of something to do, and in the phone book is like an ad for the KKK, the local chapter of the KKK. So he calls it and he leaves a message, and they call him back, and he just builds this relationship with these fuckers over the phone, but he's a black guy and it's the KKK. So his partner in the investigation office, he's like, all right, well, you got to meet him. So then he pretends to be him over the phone, and then sometimes they're like, oh, you sound different in person and stuff like that. But he spoke very, very eloquently, so you couldn't tell he was brother. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that was like part of the racism in it. It was horrible. There was so much horrible racism in the thing. It was a great movie. It was funny, and it was like a big fuck you to the current administration and how things are. There's like current news clips in it, but it takes place in the 70s. It's kind of like a guerrilla warfare picture. Like it's kind of like it's like a modern art piece. It's a film, but it starts with this fucked up intro and then another fucked up intro, and then it goes into the story of the movie, and the movie flows like a regular movie. And then at the end, it's just like all this modern shit. And I guess it did really well in the Cannes Film Festival, like earlier this year. And they were like, this movie is a big fuck you to Donald Trump. Nice. And like they called back to all of that shit. Like David Duke, the head of the KKK, like he's a character in the movie. He actually makes really good friends with this gentleman named Ron Stallworth. It's a true story. He wrote a book about it and everything. He still has his membership card to the KKK.
That's crazy.
Like he was official. He talked his way into being the head guy of that chapter. But whenever it was in person, it was this white guy who happened to be a Jew. So he's having to say fucked up shit that's not in his character about himself, and then his friend who's, they're throwing away the very hard version of the N-word, with a lot of hate behind it. And Nikki and I were talking about it. It's like, she's like, I couldn't even do that if I was acting. You know what I mean? Like, how could I stomach that shit? I was like, well, you don't have to agree to the role. You got to practice. Obviously, it's going to be tough, but this is an actor. It's good acting, but
well, there's meaning behind it too. They're making a point.
They're making a big point, and you're playing a role in that story.
And you need to see it in order to prevent it, right? That's a big debate that's going on right now.
Well, and there was clips back to that. I guess ironically enough was the anniversary yesterday of that shit in Charlottesville and stuff, where the guy like ran the person over, and like all the white supremacists were coming out, and the tiki,
I bet you that wasn't
the
ironic.
tiki torches. No, that was on purpose.
Yeah.
For sure. And that it opened this weekend and all that stuff. It was intense. And then it shows that David Duke fucking guy again. He's like, this is what Mr. Trump alluded to in the beginning of the campaign, is that we're taking the country back. And I was like,
yeah, he's still barking.
Still on
That's
that
crazy
bullshit.
to me, yeah.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? And it just showed a lot of emotional like clips and a lot of scary stuff. And it's like, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's like exactly the fucking same. And we're at a concert Saturday night. I saw DJ Quick, a West Coast legend, DJ Quick, excellent artist and stuff. Obviously if you go to a hip hop show downtown, there's going to be a lot of black people there. I met some cool people. Dude, have you guys been to Harlow's? That's where we were. I didn't see your tweet or your text until
15 no, what year is it? 13 years ago. I think the year I moved back from the service, I went one time, met a friend there.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've been back.
The last time I was there, they have a bar upstairs too called like the Momo Lounge or something.
So that's where I went.
Right. And they did like, my friend, she had an art show up there. It was like a couple of them actually, old friends that did a lot of art and stuff. And it was great. And we went to there and we hung out and stuff, but they didn't have a back patio back then, or at least not that I saw. And I thought looking down from the Momo, it just looked like parking lot back there. Well, either way, now it's like this whole back patio. And I wanted to smoke a little joint. I was there by myself. I got there early because, lines and all. But even knowing that the shit wasn't going to pop off till hella late anyway.
Yeah.
Which I probably shouldn't have left so early knowing that. But if I went that late, say I went at like 10:30, I'd probably be fine. Because I don't think he went on until like 10:45 or 11. Maybe you'll have to ask Fresh because I don't remember. I was a little drunk. But so I go out front and I was like, hey man, can I go smoke a cigarette out here? And then I go to sit down. He's like, that we have this like back patio and stuff. There's a bar back there. You can just smoke it back there. And I was like, that's cool. So I was like, really, down that hallway with all the posters and stuff on it with the bathrooms? He's like, yep, just right out that back door. I was like, fucking cool. So I walk back there, and it was like a hidden world. It was just like a movie. Do you remember that movie The Night Before when they're trying to find that crazy ball, and they finally get there and they go into the Quick Stop and they open the back door of the Quick Stop and it's like the Christmas ball or the Nutcracker ball. It was like that for patios.
That's awesome.
It was like pretty sick. I mean, it wasn't the best thing in the world, but there was this giant like willow tree. They had all this like fake grass, like turf grass, so it was like real, but it was fake. They had a bar with all these lights. People were out there ordering, having dinner. They have bomb tacos and pizza there, or at least they did the last time I was there.
Awesome.
Oh, no, that was the last time I was there. That was 3 years ago. We saw this band called Honey Honey. They were cool. They're kind of like this folk duo. My brother really likes them. But I didn't notice the patio back then either.
Well, Sacramento's not as cowpoke as it was.
No, they're trying.
making a concerted effort. And
especially with the arena and it be at the city. And there's a lot of great stuff to do down here.
There's a lot of
It was
good stuff
Second
to do.
Saturday.
They don't do
People
enough.
were out and about.
Oh,
So I was like,
I wish we would have known that.
I
he's
forget
like,
about
that was
Second
dumb.
Saturday.
We were downtown.
we should all go and do that sometime.
That'd be
That'd be fun. Maybe
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
month.
Fun.
So I go in the back corner. It's like this wood bench seating area. I'm under the willow tree. There's lights out and stuff like that. And this group of people were there, and they're talking and whatnot. And I had just started smoking this joint, but it burned out. I'm like observing the crowd, and I'm being casual as I smoke the joint. And sometimes if you don't keep puffing them, they'll just burn out. So it had burned out, and then they come and sit down. So I'm like, okay, I'm not going to like immediately start smoking when some new people sat down at the patio, like whatever. And this girl starts rolling this blunt. Like the big dude handed her like a tree that looks just like this that you and I have that they sell shit in right now, right? Because we're paying for all the packaging now.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
At least I got a cool sticker out of it, but shit.
Oh, you get stickers with those?
This, I told you about this. They were selling this eighth for $70 in San Francisco.
That's
Fuck
crazy.
that shit.
This jar's a weapon.
It's heavy.
Yeah, right? That's solid.
This thing's a rock, man. I thought I broke our countertop with it. I dropped the bag on our stove. We have a glass, electric stove.
Oh,
Or a
I
stovetop.
actually think there is a crack on the side.
Might be from that.
jeez.
It sounded loud when it hit. I didn't
It
notice
chipped.
it, but
There's a chip.
Anyway, this girl starts rolling this blunt, and I was like, what the fuck? And they smoked the blunt. And then she started doing it again. They were like half blunts. And I was like, hey, man, you guys got to let me smoke that blunt with you. Or I said, can I hit that blunt? I said, can I hit that blunt? Can I smoke that blunt with you? And then they kind of both, they're all like caught off guard, and they look at me, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, I was out here smoking in the corner by myself. I see you guys come up. You roll a blunt, and you got the nails and everything. I've never seen that. Just the patio's super
awesome.
cool. It's a great night. We're going to see this concert. And he goes, that's up to her. That's her decision. I'm like, all due respect. I'm not trying to be rude. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And okay, well, whatever. Blah, blah, blah.
it's weird. I'm not around people that are that about weed ever, it seems like.
Right?
Stingy.
Man,
It
you
just
walk
seemed
into
like
a
a good moment.
You walk into a Slightly Stupid concert. Like I said, I was afraid the first time I took Tangelo. I was like, what am I going to do if somebody offers me weed? And I was like, all right, somebody's going to offer me weed, but hopefully the lights will be low. It'll be no big deal. The moment we stopped moving to try to figure out our bearings, some dude taps me on the arm and goes, you want to smoke? And I was like, oh, shit, that was quick.
And
I
the
go
kids
over,
there.
yeah, it was too late. What was I going to do at that point? So I just turned. He's never actually seen me do it.
He just kept
saw you
looking
that
straight.
time. He's seen you do that there.
Well, I've never done it intentionally.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So
I'm
when-
drawing a fine line here. I know. It's in my head. It's the only reason I'm trying to. I don't know what I'm holding on to there.
So anyway, they won't pass the blunt to me. They keep smoking, and I was like, this sucks. Like, I would have totally... And then I'm like, whatever. So I whip out the little joint again, and I just start smoking it up. And then a couple hits in, like, she, like, passes me the blunt, and I was like, oh, thanks, man. Thanks a lot. Cool. And I'm, like, hitting it. She goes, I had to let him do it. If you see that. And she, like, totally, like, was dogging on my little pinner joint. And I was like, oh, no. I did that on purpose. You don't know what this is. This is very, very strong sativa. I got this from a client in San Francisco when we were handling his insurance, and this shit is strong as fuck, and I've been drinking all day. A, I didn't know if I was going to get caught and have to throw it out, and I didn't want to waste it. B, it's hella strong, and I could just take little bits as needed, similar to a pipe, in the middle of all this alcohol. And she's just kind of like, like rolling her eyes. And I was like, well, thanks for letting me hit the blunt, though. And I, like, gave it back. And then they weren't passing it to me again, and I was like, whatever, it was cool. And then the guy, he passes it to me, and I hit it with them again, and I give it back. And then fucking Fresh starts hitting me up, and he's like, hey, man, I'm outside smoking a cigarette. Where are you? And I'm like, I'm in the back in the dope-ass patio. And he's like, oh, I don't know how to get there. I was like, it's all the way in the back. And I like gave him detailed instructions, like posters in the bathroom or posters in the hallway with the bathroom straight out the back door. I'm in the corner. He's like, I don't know where you are. And I'm just like, motherfucker. So I get up and I was like, thank you very much. I shook the young lady's hand. She gave me a decent handshake. I gave her props for hooking it up and rolling the blunt with her nails all perfectly done and whatnot. Wish them a good evening. I went outside and I met Fresh, and then we went back out there. There was like this outside bar. I got to the point where I was drinking so many beers and drinks and stuff like that. I'm standing out there by myself because I didn't really know anybody. There was a lot of different people there. And this one guy that seemed to know somebody, like he wasn't very chill after a while. So I kept going back to the bar by myself in the back, and because dude wasn't starting the show, and I was like, I've been to one of these before. Mm-hmm. Fuck this, I know what's gonna happen. I was like,
hour.
I was like, do you think it's gonna be a half hour or an hour? No, he's coming out any minute. I was like, I don't think so, bro. We at least got a half hour. And this guy overhearing next to me, you could see him in my peripheral vision, just like looking up at me like he's picking up on what I'm saying. And I was like, you know what? The more I sit here and look at this DJ, I think it's going to be an hour. And the guy just goes, and just like takes off. I was like, that guy, like I know somebody or something. He's like, that guy's right. That guy's right. We're going to be standing here forever. And then when I really have to go pee, I'm going to miss the song. So fucking, I kept going in the backyard a lot. Or the backyard. It was like a backyard. I kept going in the patio. And this one guy comes up and he stands by us at the bar. And he said, and I can't say it. He's like, there's a lot of N'ers here. Like, but fully said the N-word. Like, with the hard ER. And I was just like, I didn't know what to do. So I kind of just turned away. Like, well, I just felt like super uncomfortable. So I just turned away. Like, I don't know you. I'm going to get this water. And like, I'm super ignoring him. And I'm drinking this water while I'm waiting in line to buy another drink. Like a fool. At one time, I was like, let me get a double Hennessy and Coke.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, no problem. And he starts flipping it up and he goes, $26. I was like, damn, man. Like, I thought about it after I ordered it, but don't you got to give somebody a heads up when they order that drink or something? I was like, do you want me to just round this up to 30 and give you a $4 tip? Is that the appropriate percentage on this? He's like, whatever, man. Like, he started to get upset. And I was like, oh, no, it's cool. I did it to myself. I've been drinking. You're fine. Like, don't worry about it. Tried to smooth it over. And I was finishing it.
Seen him spit in the next one.
And then Fresh was, just because I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was more or less joking.
Yeah.
But you could tell that
Some people take offense.
He took offense. So I was just trying to make him feel better. And then Fresh is like, I want to buy you a drink. And I was like, I'm still drinking this $30 drink. And he goes, that was $30? And I'm just like, oh. And then this other guy, he's like, if you're uncomfortable with that word, like, I'm sorry, I guess. It's just, I grew up saying that word, so it's like nothing. And I was like, I don't think that's a good idea, man. And like, do you kind of know where you're at? Like, I'm going to get some water.
Besides all the other reasons, that's a health reason in there.
Oh my God.
You go to see a DJ Quick show.
I was like, are you trying to start a fight? Like, that's why I feel like I should have maybe said something to him and let him know that wasn't cool, but I was drunk and I didn't want to get in a fight, and I didn't want to get confused with the wrong people if the fight broke out.
Yeah.
So, and I was just like, you suck. And then like I just tried to disassociate myself with that person for the whole rest of the night. There was all these people I didn't know coming and going and shit. And, like, there was a bunch of grumpy people there. There was one person who was celebrating a birthday, and, like, he was all upset. People are coming back in the backyard bar, like, at 10 o'clock, like, fuck this, I'm not feeling it, I'm leaving. Just, like, all of this negativity. And, again, I referenced that episode or that last part of Season 2 of True Blood, where that vampire devil bitch just pollutes the town with toxicity. It was like there was this plague of rolling... It's like the remember Ghostbusters 2 when all the pink slime is flowing under the city and it's making everybody mad and cranky? It was like Vigo the Carpathian was watching me with his eyes from the oil painting. It was intense.
That creeped me out when I was a kid. We'll get back to that another time.
It was gross, dude. And I was just like, this vibe ain't shit. And then dude come out and he came out late. And DJ Quick was all right, but the mic checks, just mic check, people. We mic check. We make the
Yeah.
mic sound crispy.
Yeah.
Like
Well, Mamma Mia was terrible. The sound was terrible.
Yes,
a lot of that's on the
professionals.
venue. A lot of that's what's on the.
Yeah.
The sound guy wasn't even there. Like he left.
We
What?
saw a show 2 weeks ago that
They
sounded
were
great.
amazing.
Right.
So I don't think that's the venues. I don't know how much.
Oh, at the Music Circus too.
Yeah.
Is it
Yeah.
the Music Circus?
Yeah.
The one in the round. The Wells Fargo Pavilion.
Yeah.
Pavilion.
I saw Louis C.K. there when he was practicing for that latest, that last HBO bit.
Oh.
I saw him the day
That
before
would
the
be
recording.
Amazing.
I
place
saw it
to
with my
see a big
brothers.
comic.
Oh, it was sick because he's walking the room.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen the bit.
Yeah, that's crazy though.
Yeah.
We should look out for that.
He was filming it, and he's like, "We are filming tonight. We know we're practicing for this HBO special we got
Wow.
going." They like announced it.
That's
So if
cool.
anything's out of the ordinary, that's fucking why.
Huh.
And like he did it, and he killed, and it was
awesome.
hilarious. But I don't know. Like I just think there's way too much racism still in the world. They tried. What was cool and was also almost peace and love on top of a pile of shit was they were trying to celebrate the anniversary of that shit in Washington, D.C. And this white supremacist fuck who shall be remain nameless, A, because I don't care to remember his name, B, you're going to get no play on my shit, even though we already fucking name dropped Double D.
Yeah.
But fuck him. It was to tell the story of the movie and how humiliated he was by what happened. They really fucking sunned those ignorant hillbilly motherfuckers in that movie. That movie was legit. But then it was also very eye-opening that fuck, this shit ain't right still.
Yeah.
And people are just naturally fucking, I think to a degree. So, and this is another tangent which could be talked about in far more detail or maybe even another time. So much comedy, and we have a lot of fun when you think about, like, I don't know, South Park, how they make fun of everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Or like Eddie Murphy, or, you know, like a lot of people make Dave Chappelle. A lot of comedy has racist undertones, but is it racist or is it, what is it when it's comedy? Because everybody makes fun. We all make fun of our differences. That's almost unity. But you're still separating people into categories. We were at the open mic night that other night, and a bunch of people like, oh, they're all white boy jokes.
Yeah.
Like all of this stuff, and like it's okay for people who are on stage telling jokes. Obviously, if it's not from a hateful standpoint, and it's more just
Well,
like
Chappelle found that line for him personally, right? That's why he quit.
what.
He saw the way a guy was laughing at one of his bits, and he said it felt race. Then it didn't feel funny anymore, and it bothered him so much he couldn't do it anymore. It was some white guy that was on set or something. But you have to look into that more. I don't know, but that's what I heard him say about why he quit, because he just walked away.
Quit the show.
Yeah, he walked away from a lot of money too for a comic. I mean, now there's a couple comics that are killing it, but he walked away from a lot of money.
Yeah,
On that
definitely.
belief, it was good for him.
I just think our society
for
becomes so acceptable, as if it's acceptable to talk about another race, and even in a jokingly way where it's actually very offensive.
Well, if you think about it, we were talking to the sweet lady down the road a second ago, and she was telling you all about the new floors and stuff like that. And she goes, "They were all Russian." Like, and my grandpa would do that. So my brother, growing up or in high school, he had her family, I think, was from Nicaragua. That's a Latin country, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I think she was Latin of some sort. I think it was Nicaraguan. And my grandpa meets her and immediately, maybe ignorantly so, assuming she was Mexican or something, starts telling him about how good a job the Mexicans he hired to build the wall going up his front steps were. But he felt like he was doing it complimentary. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, we had these guys and like they worked so hard and all this shit. And she was educated. She was a smart girl, and she was just like not having it. And I was like, and then like immediately tried to come in and like change the subject and stuff. But that moment sucked, and I think that's generational even.
Absolutely.
But man, everybody just seems to.
Nowadays, somebody comes out and talks, oh, this Mexican guy's like, oh, that could be a little offensive to somebody, standing right next to you, just not
Well,
understanding.
Bill Burr tells a great joke about that. It's all about where you put the fuck. Right? That's the difference. He goes, if I tell a story and I'm like, this fucking Asian cut me off, right? Or
Right.
if you go, this Asian motherfucker, right?
Right.
It's where you put it. It makes a difference.
Well, that
it
is
sounds
context.
worse.
That's
yeah.
totally different context. There was anger and aggression in the first one,
Yeah.
and it came from more of a hateful spot. So is there a point? Is it okay to have South Park where anybody can get it? Nobody is exempt
I think
from
it's
getting it.
necessary.
It is,
Not
right?
just okay.
Because it kind of...
To a degree. You're only going to... This is my personal point of view, which maybe doesn't amount to a lot because I haven't faced a lot of oppression, but I understand that some words have more meaning than other, but you have to... The only way that that's not going to matter anymore is if it doesn't pertain to anything, in the sense that as long as people feel equal across all boards, and this isn't just race, it's also gender, right? And there's all,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
but when everybody feels even, then those words won't hurt as much anymore.
Right. Well, and I think that's why a lot of people...
Either that or we just outfuck it, right? You just fuck it out of us. Just you fuck everybody.
Do you
fucks
remember
everybody.
Bulworth? Yeah.
Yeah, is that what he said?
Yeah, he's
oh,
like-
when he lost it.
The white people need to start fucking the black people,
Yeah.
and the black people need to start fucking the Chinese people, and everybody just starts fucking everybody until we're all the same color. We're all purple.
Yep.
or some shit like that. I only vaguely remember
Yeah.
it, but that was the same sentiment.
Yeah. It's the only other way to get rid of
funny.
it. Maybe you can't.
Well, the thing
The
that's...
hatred's going to be there no matter what.
They are, I would
You can't
say...
legislate hatred out of people.
Well, I think a lot of those ignorant people are, in a way, aging out. Now, the hate is something that's taught and passed down, and there's still a lot of young, hateful motherfucking bigots out there, too.
Oh, yeah.
But I think it's more common to be neutral, caring, and loving and have some humanity than it was back then, when people where people were more afraid to stand up to be individual, or it's okay to disagree with that. But if everybody in my football team says the N-word the wrong way, it's a lot harder for me to stand up and not say it. But people now are more like, nah, fuck that. Like, you guys can't, I'm going to change this. This is the year we don't say that, right? Or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It was lame to hear that dude say that. It was lame to see that part of that movie, which was so old and outdated, and then right at the end was super current. And then what was cool about this is what I was trying to say, that stupid prick fucking racist little bitch. He was trying to get like hundreds of hate mongers down there in Washington, D.C. on the anniversary of that last Tiki Torch March last month. He didn't scrap together more than 20 people. There was like media on the bus and stuff, and they're like, there's like 30 people on this bus, 10 of them are fucking news people, and then this douchebag wearing his flag and like his 15 to 18 people with him. Like, he didn't get the shit he wanted, and all the people that showed up to protest against him outnumbered him by hundreds.
Okay,
So that was
but-
like a great showing.
And I don't mean to. There's truth into it, but how much does that mean hatred's going away, or does it mean it's hiding on the internet?
They gotta go back to hiding. I'd rather
Yeah.
him be in fucking hiding than out in the front marching with the tiki fucking torches.
No, there's no doubt. I just
Right?
think it's still there. I'm not saying that it's a demonstration of the fact that nobody hates anymore. Only 20 people showed up.
Right.
There was a lot of people that realized that got caught up in the last one, right? Like,
I'm not getting run over by a car.
yeah, my picture gets taken,
I'm
or
not
my
getting
picture gets
shot.
taken, my life's over.
Right.
I'm going to be labeled this, and I'm done. So you're right. They're back in hiding. That's a good step.
There was a couple people in the video they blacked out with like the eyes, but then there were some other people that it was like, I'm gonna be on that DVD for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you
like
gotta
what
think
the
about that.
fuck?
Oh.
That's why what was really cool about I love Tarantino movies. This reminded me of a Tarantino movie. I know those guys don't really get along, Spike Lee and Tarantino,
Which is too bad.
but I don't know. It was a great film, but Brad Pitt, Lieutenant Aldo Rain. When you get home, you're gonna take off that nice Nazi uniform, ain't you? You're never gonna put it on again. Well, I'm gonna give you something you can't take off. And then he pins them down and he carves a fucking swastika in their foreheads. You've never seen that movie?
No.
It's intense.
Oh, we need to watch that.
It's
one.
intense. He's the Aldo the Apache.
Yeah, it's about the
No.
guy.
He scalps all the Nazis that he kills, and he leaves one behind to tell the tale. And the one he leaves behind to tell the tale, he carves a swastika in their fucking forehead, so that they
Crazy
can
movie.
never live that shit down. It's pretty cool. It's got an alternate twist on history. Like, they take history, they use it as the plot, and then they change the end to how they wished it would end. It's kind of comical.
Yeah.
But
A lot of good messages. I was talking to somebody at work the other day about how I don't believe history is going to favor this period of time, the last Well, I mean, on a long enough scale, it'll be the last couple hundred years, but definitely this period now where it's like they knew everything they were doing was wrong, but they kind of still weren't doing anything about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then people like the woman that refused to marry in Kentucky or whatever, that refused to marry the same-sex couple, and she like went to jail for it. And she became like the. I shouldn't even say her name. You're right. I'm gonna bleep that shit out.
Yeah, don't give them.
You're right.
The school shooters, anybody. They
Yeah.
don't get to be Charles
But
Manson.
her face, like
They
you
don't
said
get a
about the
movie.
DVD, is going to be synonymous with people that are photographed in the back of diners in the South in the 50s that were screaming at these protesters that were doing these sit-ins, and the hatred you see, like that's you for the rest of your life now.
Yeah.
You're done. You
That's
know,
crazy.
and nowadays maybe that's a good part of the internet.
This brings us to this week's piece. Today and actually this year marks the 70th anniversary Declaration of Human Rights, which is pretty amazing because it came into effect in 1948. And what that does, that actually declaration is understanding and helping United States understand race, gender, equality, making sure that people know the difference and helping other people see that we're all human. We're all together here for a reason. So, and a lot of other countries took that as well. And
It was kind of a Bill of Rights for the world, was it not, after World War II?
yeah.
Kind of. That's
It
what
actually it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Australia, China, Lebanon, Soviet Union, UK, they all took it on basically, and it's important because it helps fight against racial, gender, and ability of discrimination. And a lot of countries are taking this, which is amazing because China as well. You know, knowing
Is this related to the United Nations?
the UN.
Was that the first meeting of the UN, like the Peace Avengers?
No, I think this is what came out of
Yeah.
the UN forming, right? Because it was the League of Nations after World War One. Clearly, it didn't work. That's why we had World War Two. So they started the United Nations, and I think this is what was born out of that. Much like the Bill of Rights was born out of the Constitution not being quite complete enough for everybody. And there's a lot of irony in a lot of this too for people that are, understand that this was adopted in 1948. Martin Luther King didn't come around for another. Become prominent for how many more years after this. So we as a country signed this much like we signed the Bill of Rights while still owning slaves. So the struggle is still real.
Well, you know what I really do like about it reading this? Eleanor Roosevelt was the first chair there. So she basically in some way helped start it. And there's actually a quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. "We could not have peace or an atmosphere in which peace could grow unless we recognize the rights of individual human beings." Eleanor Roosevelt.
Awesome.
It's just pretty amazing. I really like that.
We decided to switch these up today. End on a strong note, right? There's still hope. There's a foundation. There's paperwork. I shouldn't say paperwork, but there's a framework for things to get better, and we should all hope that they continue to get better. And like we said, part of that is being funny about certain things, but you got to know where the line is.
Yeah.
Some people don't. Some people learn the hard way. About lots of things in life, the important part is that you're ever changing and trying to get better. We can't just say that's the way it is. We're fucked.
Right.
We have to encourage conversation.
And teach, yeah, and educate,
Yeah.
and just I don't know. I felt like I should have said something to that guy, but I didn't want it to turn into a
It's a
fight.
teaching lesson now, or moment maybe. You had other circumstances. You'd been drinking a lot. You didn't want to start a fight. You made your point clear, I think, by ignoring him. That's why he felt like he had to bring up.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He felt offended. And that's good. You made him uneasy
Yeah, well,
with your actions.
He made me uneasy by fucking talking like an idiot.
Yeah, and enough people would just sit there and like, yeah, whatever.
Or try to commiserate or be like, yeah, like, or some, I don't
anything.
know.
Even, but by turning away, you made your point made.
Yeah.
Or else he wouldn't have brought it back up. He knew you were upset about what he said. And sometimes maybe that's all you can do. Other times you have to be more vocal. Other times you have to show up to protest when Dum Dum, tries to get a group together. Like you said, more protesters showed up than for the anti-protesters showed up, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
However you want to look at that. I don't know who the protester is there. I guess anybody can call themselves a protester, and the other side shows up, they're the anti-protester.
In this political science class that I had in junior college many moon ago, the teacher was like, just go to a protest. go to one and like, because at the time there was like Bush and Iraq and all that stuff, and there was a lot of protests at the Capitol and stuff. She's like, if you just go down there and ask them what they're protesting, like so many people have no fucking clue, nor could the ones that think they do articulate it in any kind of intelligent way.
Yeah.
And people are just joiners.
Either side.
People are just joiners, and unfortunately, if there's shitty shit for people to join up into, they're gonna do it just by proximity or fear of being different or speaking out or just for acceptance, because acceptance is a hell of a drug.
Yeah.
You know, like people just want it, even if it's foul. Some of these people, you got it. Well, you think about like the reformed people, or they like prison reformed, or they're like a KKK person. There was one article or news show, and I forgot who, Morgan Freeman was interviewing him, and he was like a reformed white supremacist, and he was just like, you got to know, like in your gut, like that shit ain't right. But it's like, that's the football team you're on or something.
I think that's a problem in understanding. I don't know that that's always true. My example
Some
has always
people are just evil.
Well, if you were told the first part of your life, you know, that this was a car, right?
That soda can.
And this was, you know, a baseball bat. And that's all you were taught. And then someone threw you out in the world, and they're like, hey, man, hand me that can. And you'd be like, what the fuck's a can? That's a car. You wouldn't know any better. I really think they don't know any better. I'm not saying that it makes it okay in any way. I'm just saying that you have to understand that in order to tackle the issue. And you have to understand that some people just don't fucking know any better. It's a weird concept because you think, well, you've seen this on the internet. If that's true, why the fuck are there still Scientologists? Right?
They just believe it. The teaching is so strong that they believe it.
That's it. It's religion in a nutshell. It's a religion to those kids that's taught to them by their parents, who are the all-knowing beings in the universe. And they know, and they don't know any better, and it takes profound instances to change that.
Hate is their religion.
Yeah. It's sad, you know. You blame your personal shit on... It's easier to blame your laziness on you can't get a job because, you know, whatever ethnicity is in your neighborhood is taking up all the jobs, right? Depends on where you live. If you're in California, it's Mexicans. If, you know, you're in New York City, it's Puerto Ricans or whatever the hell it is. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what you teach these children, and they don't know any different. You trust your parents implicitly when you're that age.
Yeah.
Like you
well,
trust
that's what I'm
any
saying.
kind of
It's
deity.
taught.
Yeah.
It's taught down, and it's not.
Hopefully, it's getting harder and harder to teach people that.
I think so.
Hopefully. It doesn't seem like it sometimes. Right now, it seems pretty ugly, but it also feels like maybe sometimes you got to get some shit out. And maybe as a society, we need to get some shit out. And then hopefully it gets better over time. But it needs to come out and be addressed. Things need to be addressed and stopped. And it's part of the whole Me Too movement as well. Things come out, they need to be addressed, and changes need to be made.
It's just so weird that you learn about these things in history and all these appalling things, and then like people are still coming out in droves with that evil, like
sex trafficking. That's another evil thing that you didn't think still existed, right?
Here
and that's almost
in
blowing
our
up
neighborhood.
more in the last
Supposedly
decade.
Here,
It's in
it's like
Roseville.
supposed to be like
Really?
Gal-
one of the
Galleria.
worst spots. Yeah, it's crazy.
Ugh.
It's
Yeah,
terrible.
this evil's in the world that you don't. I mean, maybe they need to be brought to the forefront, and it's horrible right now. It's hard because you're looking at humanity, and you're like, wow, this is shit. We're shit. Sometimes I have that look, like you said. Sometimes that's just the feeling. But then you read an article that makes you feel better. That's why we're trying to do this. We're trying to remind people that you got to wade through this shit. I think that's what we use in the description, right?
Yeah.
And you got to find your peace. You got to find your inner light. You got to find your light at the end of the tunnel. Whatever it is to make you feel better, you got to do it. You got to remain positive. We haven't brought up P3 all show. Right? It's just kind of a feeling about the whole topic, but we got to stay positive. There are good role models out there. There are good examples of interactions between police and civilians.
Yeah.
And we have to show those just as much as the bad. We got to keep the bad out of our mouths, right? That's what you've been preaching tonight. And that's a good mantra for us to have going forward. Unless it's pertinent to the story, just don't bring up the monsters.
Yeah. Keep their names out of our mouth. Yeah, for sure. They don't get cred.
Keep it positive.
They're not going to get a movie. They don't get a movie. Well, and that's kind of weird because last night I was watching the end. Maybe I watched like the last act of that Patriots Day movie with like Mark Wahlberg's the cop in Boston. I can't say Mark Wahlberg. Mr. Wahlberger is a cop in Boston, and it's about those fucking teen bombers or whatever. And I was like watching it, and I'm enjoying it, and obviously it's fucked up. That's not what I was enjoying, was the bad stuff, but it was a good movie. Or I was watching the end of it, but then at the same time I was like, why do these little fucks get a movie? Like I wouldn't even use their real name. Like,
yeah,
you know what I
point,
mean?
yeah.
Like, fuck that guy. Like, he's immortalized in film now. Well, he's immortalized in history. It's a world thing now, right? It's going to be in the books. Probably when my kid's in high school, maybe there'll be a chapter about
it.
Or especially back east in New England. That's in the history forever now.
They'll call them the terrorism years, hopefully, because we've gotten past it and we can refer to it as being past tense.
Right?
Right, hopefully.
And that's what
our
you're
hope.
talking about, in that this section of time is going to be looked at.
I really
such
have.
a weird
we watch.
way.
I don't think we handle mental health well.
No.
We watch shows like My 600-Pound Life and Hoarders. I've said this before. That is totally us getting entertainment value out of somebody else's disorder.
Right. Well, I think mental health is starting down the right path.
Finally.
I think people are getting a dialogue about it, and people are just getting like, you know what? Yeah, that happens to me too. And me too in like a more positive way, or I guess me too can be taken as a positive way too if you think about that. But like,
I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
It's a positive that we
Not the
both
Me
have
Too
this
thing,
problem.
but-
Not we're going to join together to fight this terrible thing. It's we're going,
or hide it forever, which
Yeah.
makes it worse,
Way
which
worse.
makes you another thing that you feel like you got to hide from.
Comedy is a bridge. Hopefully, what we say and do in the future will be impactful in the way that we want to be impactful.
Yeah.
One guy that's been pretty impactful the last couple of years is Kevin Hart, right? He's been motivating people.
Yeah.
Not just is he funny and crack people up, but he's a big motivational inspiration on, what was that thing called again? I forget. What do they do? Put pictures on there?
Instagram.
The Instagram.
Oh,
The
Mr.
Instagram. The
Orange.
IG. For instance, this hashtag move with heart thing. Like, he travels city to city and gets people to like exercise and run marathons with him and stuff. And Nike
awesome.
hooks him up with his own Kevin Hart shoes, Hustle Heart sneakers from Nike. Yeah, it says Hustle Heart right there.
Obstacles are put in front of you to be ran through. They are not supposed to stop you. Some obstacles are tougher than others, but they can all be beat. Stay on course and make your dreams become your reality. Damn it.
It's awesome.
Well done, Mama KGB.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's apropos for tonight, right? We're talking about a lot of obstacles society has, and we got to just run through them. I think that's my point. You got to bring them up, and you got to fucking deal with them, and then you can move on.
Yep. Another peace, love, and shit in the books, man. Let's keep promoting peace. Let's walk away and act better people and just try to be less of dickheads, man. The world needs fewer dickheads in these days and times, and shit. Let's just not be dickheads.
I
anymore.
held a door for two women with coffees in both hands the other day.
Oh, boy.
And I kicked back and I threw my foot in, and they're like, "Oh, you didn't have to do that." And I was just thinking about the whole time this was all developing. I was thinking in our head about what we talk about holding doors.
Right.
And no, it wasn't two coffees. It was two beers. It was at the Mamma Mia. And these two older women were walking towards the door, and they were like 10 feet off. And I had just gone through the door, and I threw my leg back, and they were like, "No, you don't have to do that." But they probably had a laugh out of it.
But
They
don't you
did.
feel good when you...
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah.
Dude, continues to feel good on top of feel good, and then life feels good.
Yeah.
And that's what it's supposed to do.
And it's just paying forward small acts of kindness. Remember that movie Paying Forward back in the day?
Yes.
Or Pay It Forward or
Pay
something?
It Forward.
I saw that once back in the day. That had a good message to it. Didn't little homie die at the end or something? Didn't he fall off the bleachers and like...
Something like the young
Well, that's
kid.
a way to drag that vibe down.
Well, it's all talking about being good humans, good, kind humans.
Maybe we got to go watch that movie and have a cry.
I'm down.
Have a good cry.
Fuck that bong. I am the Duffman at Duffman916 on IG and the Twitter. Thanks for hanging out and listening to Peace, Love, and Shit, shitheads. We're recording another LSU this week, so that's going to be fun. And same shit, different toilet.
Will have come out by now, so I hope you enjoyed it.
But either way, we're going to do another one next month. We got
Yep.
another one on the calendar, so we're bringing it back full force.
Thanks, you guys, for listening. I'm having a great time. Hopefully, you are too. Follow me on Twitter.
I love you. You sold that so well.
That was a good one.
I'm having a great time. I hope you are too.
Why do I still have to do this?
No, sorry guys. I'm
I
just
said I'd
tired.
marry him, not stand out here every fucking week while him and his
fucking
buddy
hot.
jerk each other off.
It's August.
Okay.
The whole
let's start
time
that
she's
all over.
whispering. Next week she's whispering. Let me quit.
That was the beginning. That's what she's fucking saying.
The shitheads are like,
Somebody
did you
help
hear
me."
that? Is she saying help? No, turn it up, turn it up. They're so loud and annoying. That Duffman is so nasal. Just listen. In between his yammering. Help me. Help me.
Fucking GoFundMe page comes up. Help us save Mama KGB.
Thanks you guys for listening. I'm having a great time. Hopefully you are too. Follow me on Twitter for all things that are awesome related at mama_KGB.
Awesome, baby. Hey, thanks for listening, shitheads. We've been having a good time. We had a good time tonight. Hopefully we put a good message out there. Go by theouthouse.com. It's all pretty. You can follow me at Mr_Orange25. You can follow the kids. You can follow at SSD Toilet. Pick one. Follow us. We'd love it. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Bye.
I gotta let that fucking yawn out now.